first noticed something was wrong with Dexter when he became lethargic and his back was hunched like he was hurting and he began shivering. He's normally very cuddly, and I noticed that he was distancing himself from everyone. And after a couple of days of that, he began vomiting, and it was difficult to get him to eat or drink water. So it was pretty apparent that there was something seriously wrong.
Dexter came in because he was vomiting and he wasn't feeling 100%. He looked very sad. He was very lethargic, which means just subdued and not wanting to really move too much. It was probably one of the moments for me as a veterinary technician that breaks my heart so much when you see a little tiny kitten that can't really move that much and was shaking like crazy. You could just tell with him being dehydrated, he didn't feel good, so he was just a sad little kitten. It was awful. I felt horrible for him. Originally, when we saw Dexter, we thought maybe he could have gotten into something, maybe had a foreign body obstruction, so something that was blocking his ability to defecate and making him vomit and could potentially be a life-threatening issue. We originally diagnosed him with acute vomiting, so meaning an onset of vomiting. And at that time, his signs and symptoms were so vague that we weren't 100% what was going on with him. So we had suggested doing some blood work, keeping him in the hospital, but at that time it wasn't feasible, so he got some subcutaneous fluids and a medication that would hopefully trigger him from stop vomiting, and it sounded like within 24 hours he wasn't doing very well and had to go over to the emergency hospital.
First time Dexter came back from the vet when he stayed overnight, he looked a lot better at least. He was a lot more active. Then it started getting a little worrying again because he wouldn't eat, he wouldn't drink.
The first time that I saw him, he had been here once before and been seen by Dr. Holmes. And when I compared kind of her notes to what I was seeing, it was pretty similar. So he was really quiet. He wasn't very playful like I usually expect a kitten to be. He was really sweet. He purred pretty much the whole time that I examined him, but he was much quieter and less active than I would expect a kitten to be. He was dehydrated, so on my physical exam he had dry gums and his skin tint was a little bit longer than I like it to be. But probably the biggest thing that I noticed with him compared to another kitten that was healthy was that he was just really quiet and just didn't seem to feel well. I spoke with your mom and we kind of talked about doing supportive care at home, kind of like what you guys had done before, really kind of going for it and doing full-on hospitalization. The big thing with kidneys is making sure that they're flushed out when something's attacking them, so whether it's an infection or a toxin or that sort of thing. And so I kind of recommended, hey, if we're going to really try and give Dexter the best chance to make it, the best thing for him is IV fluids. So we talked about that, and she elected to go ahead and do the IV fluids overnight and that sort of thing, which we'd only been doing them in the day before. So we placed an IV catheter in him, which he tolerated just fine because he wasn't feeling well. And then I gave him IV fluids, so I just gave him a balanced electrolyte bolus. And then started him on some IV fluids, and then I used an anti-nausea medication called Serenia, and I started him on some injectable antibiotics as well in case there was an infection in his kidneys, and some antacids to help hopefully make his tummy feel better.
We have a fund here called Caring for a Lifetime Fund that Braintree had established, I believe back in 2009, where it's a fund, it's all volunteer based, and from our community, our team members, our clients and stuff, where they donate money to this fund, or we also have fundraisers as well. And this fund is based on clients and their pets, where their pets need life-saving procedures, in order to, where otherwise they might not they might have to be euthanized, and where the owners might not be able to help them. And this fund helps pay for ideally 50% of the total cost of a bill. There's certain stipulations that the owner has to follow, and once they qualify, they can go ahead and again get 50% of their total bill paid for with this fund.
I would describe Dexter as wild and ornery and incorrigible and very caring, and he's very loving. He's definitely got two sides to him. He's got the one that will come up to you and put his paw on you and look deep into your eyes and then give you cuddles, and then there's the one that will look deep into your eyes and attack you. He's definitely just a part of the family. No matter what anyone's doing, he's curious what they're doing, wants to know how things work, inquisitive, and just a lot of fun, and makes it every day just, it's like looking at everything through a child's eyes again. He's really fun and makes really mundane things like sweeping the floor exciting again.
A fun, loving, happy, energetic kitten. He is probably the sweetest cat that I've ever met, to be perfectly honest. We have a lot of pictures that we took of Dexter while he was staying with us, and a lot of us have little memorabilia pictures, and one of them in particular is me with Dexter in my arms, and he's batting my nose, and he's just the sweetest little thing. He's happy. That's what we want.
Dexter is a rambunctious little Henri. He attacks everyone's ankles. He's not necessarily aggressive, but I don't know. He's a good cat.
At first glance, Dexter looks like the cutest, naughtiest kitten ever, you know, where gets into everything, has to know what everybody's doing, but yet be an awesome little cuddler, you know, a little lap warmer, but still wants to be in everything, but still sitting in your lap, you know. My favorite kind, the naughty, cute, sweet little kittens.
When I didn't know he was coming back for a recheck, and I was actually here the day that he came back for his recheck exam, or his recheck blood work, which wasn't really an exam, but I walked downstairs and I was like, I know this kitten. I was like, is this Dexter? And they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's Dexter. So when I saw him at his recheck for his blood work, he was active, he was spicy, he didn't really want to get his blood drawn, which is exactly what I want to see when I see a kitten, is like, they want to not be held down to get their blood drawn. And he was playful, so he looked great compared to what he looked like the first day that I saw him. He was really, really playful and was really happy and running around, and we gave him a little ball to play with while he was back here waiting to get his blood drawn, and he was doing that. So he looked great. He looked just like a kitten should.